Hi all. I've been using Twitter a bit more and I bumped into someone called Pogonina. I thought originally, is this someone from Pogo Chess? But apparently it's a WGM, a Russian WGM, FIDE 2500. So Natalia Pogonina was born March 9th, 1985, one of the best female players in the world, member of the Russian chess team, women Grandmaster, 3 times European champion, under 16, twice under 18. Bronze prize winner at the World Championship Under 18 and European Women's Championship. Winner of the gold medal in the first International Mind Sports Games. Co-winner of the 2008 Student World Championship. And number 1 at multiple prestigious international tournaments between 2006 and 2009. So anyway, I want to pick one of her games because of my initial contact on Twitter. And I think it's a nice game where there was a nice positional exchange sacrifice, and black, for a while seemed kind of cramped. So it's interesting and instructive in a way, how to deal with a cramped position and not be afraid to try and simplify the position a bit, and go for a better ending if you can. So C5 striking out at white's centre. White was playing really super solidly. So white was Maia Lomineishvili 2-4-3-7. So nearly an equally matched, FIDE rated opponent to Natalia. So B6. So black is aiming for control at B7. I'm not going to turn on the engine for this because sometimes that ruins the video editing, and I can't save the video properly. But also I don't want all this tons of technical analysis to dominate anymore. So gone a bit anti-engine recently. So let's just see what we think about this game. So C4. So white's played this very, conservatively and solidly, avoiding mainstream opening theory. Good control of the centre. The pieces are logically placed. It's very solid for white. So it's kind of coiled spring type setup with, nothing really wrong with white position. And now, white plays D5. So it's as if white's increasing slightly, the space advantage. And this bishop is ready, to exchange against black's fianchetto bishop, potentially weakening some dark squares in black's position. I've got a similar correspondence game going on at the moment at Chess World, by the way. So B5, trying to undermine D5. Now E4. So it seems a bit futile, this biting at the side, but it has one side effect now, which is important. After B takes, knight takes C4, it does enable black to start a series of simplifications, which actually, let some weaknesses be more exploitable. So Queen C2, now Knight B6. So there's a target on C4, which is really the only exploitable target black has at the moment. So Knight FD2, so exchange on C4, another exchange on C4. And what has black accomplished by all this so far? It doesn't seem much. It seems, white's going to still play for E5. But one thing about E5, it's not really as effective as before with these simplifications because there's a potential, vacuum of weaknesses in white's position. So black even encourages another exchange with knight D7. So loads of pieces have been exchanged off, and white still pursues the plan for E5 by playing F4. But now again, C4 is being used as a way of simplifying the position more. But there's something deeper now about knight B6. It's inviting the white knight to come to the C6 square. And if you remember one of my blitz games, when that happened there was a powerful exchange sack that the opponent used. In this game we'll see a similar sort of thing, but bear in mind C6, it's going to happen in a few moves time. So knight E3, rook C8. Now check, the king moves back, rook F3. So potentially white's either going to double up rooks or maybe even reserve rook H3 and knight G4 if black's not careful. So black played quite a defensive move now. Natalia played F6. After rook C1, now knight D7. So black is really braced up to against E5. And now here the knight is going in now for the C6 square. So knight C4. And again we see knight B6. Again with an open invitation to come to C6. Which on this occasion white took. So knight A5. Queen C7, knight C6. But it's a bit committal, and now black strikes very accurately with E6, not minding a seemingly powerful tactical reply. I wonder if you can spot white's tactical reply here. So trying to punish black for E6. So the trapper is being trapped in a way, but in a very deep sense of a positional sacrifice. I'll give you 5 seconds to see if you can spot white's move. Okay, white played knight d4, so there's that horrible pin on the c5 pawn. And the white knight is getting to that really vicious square now, e6, much more superior to c6 in terms of central location. But black now, guess what black just played here? I'll give you 5 seconds. Natalia just played e takes d5, rather calmly giving up the exchange after knight e6, so the exchange sacrifice is offered, and black plays d4, and look at this ending now. Well, first, knight takes c3 knight takes c7 is no problem after d takes. Black will be fine. So white played queen d3, and after queen e7, the exchange is offered. And now look at this ending. It's difficult to assess really, because black has nice central control with these pawns. e4 is a target for this semi-open file. So black, now has some initiative from being before in a sort of difficult position with potential kingside threats. The strategic elements have all been mixed up now, so there's play on this this backward pawn on the semi-open file. As long as black can maintain the pawns, they're kind of rock solid, establishing quite a few central squares as well. So it's a nice play by Natalia to play this exchange sacrifice, inviting this knight a5, even inviting this seemingly nasty tactic knight d4. So b4, rook e8. So taking on c5 now, rook f2. And now king g7. So the king is supporting f6 just in case, and it's just a quiet waiting move really. What is white doing here? White doesn't want to release control of e4 because queen e4 and the queen's like crashing through maybe. So white played rook fc2, just gaining out more on c5. So Natalia played knight a4. After rook c4, white is offering the exchange back. So why did white do that? Well, maybe knight c3 and black is absolutely, starting to crush white positionally, even the exchange down. If white's not going to sacrifice the exchange and ends up losing e4, it'll be 2 pawns for the exchange. It will just get worse and worse and worse, like going downhill, positionally. So white takes this opportunity to sacrifice the exchange. Well, I assume it's not a blunder. So knight b2. And after this, though, black's clearly better now. Queen takes e4. Although it's only 1 pawn in this ending, look at this vacuum of weaknesses. And, white's pawns are probably, she regrets, the opponent with white probably regrets ever playing f4 now. So queen e3 check, king f1, rook e7, guarding the 7th rank. Still with horrible threats now, like queen e2 and queen takes f4. And it's difficult for white to do anything here. If g3, maybe just queen f3 check, and rook e2 is going to be coming down for the kill. So in the game, this horrible blunder, rook d1, probably from a totally, lost position anyway now, check, and just picking up d1. So it was quite an inviting, exchange sack from a seemingly passive position, a great counter-attack in the end game. So let's have a quick review of that game. So white had a seemingly really solid position, just gradually gaining space in a totally risky way. But because of the c4 square and this initial undermining move where white couldn't have taken, black used b6 as a key way of simplifying the position out, and then inviting this amazing exchange sack idea. If the knight was on c6, just play for e6 is undermining c6 and undermining white's centre. Which potentially would give black strong e-file counterplay as well. But white initially rejected the invitation, but then later took up the invitation for knight a5 to c6. So it was just, I think, kind of interesting, this e6 counter-attack now, inviting knight d4 and just willingly going the exchange down. And sometimes you have to do that if you want to positionally outplay the opponent. You have to mix the strategic cards up a little bit. And black did that successfully, and just white started to crumble. First, losing the exchange back, maybe that was just a blunder, but now this crashing through the e-file with loads of weaknesses now to attack led to white losing a rook. Please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.